Welcome back to all of our listeners for another edition of Puck Yeah or Puck No, where we each say a hot take or give a question, and the rest of us have to answer Puck Yeah or Puck No with a short explanation as to why. So, Rob, you're going to kick us off here, and I believe you're starting off with an NFL topic for us, as the
Yeah,
draft is just around the corner.
yes, with the draft. So we're going to go with at least one of Debo, AJ, or McLaurin will be traded at the NFL draft. So one of the three big wide receivers who have expressed that they want either a new contract or to be traded.
Well, the GM of the Niners came out today and said that he doesn't see a scenario where Debo's dealt, but that quickly could change if they throw the 13th pick or something like that their way, which is probably an overpayment. The hell with it, man. Yeah, it's you know what? I'm gonna say yes only because it's not really a hyped up draft, right? I think we were talking about it. It's not really. There's not that big crown jewel at this draft. So I'm gonna say yeah, and I'm gonna say it's. I'm gonna go off the board. I'm gonna say it's McLaurin. I'm gonna say it's Scary Terry's gonna go.
I don't know which one of them will be dealt, but I'm going to say Puck Yeah as well. I think one of them will be dealt. The draft just seems like a reasonable place to get something like this done. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Bobby, but I believe this draft does have some really good wide receivers in it. So if you look at a team that's trading one of these guys away, maybe they feel like they can acquire one of these good young wide receivers who they don't have to pay a ton off the hop and can still make a difference coming off the hop in their rookie deal. So I'm going to go with Puck Yeah. Don't know which one, though.
Mm-hmm. Since I know Debo will not be traded by the NFL draft, it's basically AJ or Terry. I'm gonna say Puck no. I don't think it gets done. Any team that's looking for a wide receiver might say, hey, let's draft one of these young kids and get someone on the cheap because you're gonna have to trade and then sign one of these guys to a big contract. So I'm gonna go with Puck no.
All right, Frankie, you got the next one. And I believe it's a Maple Leaf one, so
Go figure.
we never talk about them.
Never. All right. Here we go. So, the most important player on the Leafs going into the NHL playoffs is not Auston Matthews.
I'm going to say Puck no. I think he is totally their most important player. You can make an argument as for goaltending being most important because without that, they're not going to go very far. But it's Matthews. He's the guy at the top of the food chain. He's the one that they need to absolutely take over games and be a leading charge. You know, someone like Kucherov, who's had almost 30 points in the playoffs the last couple playoff years. They need something like that from Matthews. And he is a guy who could totally get hot and get on a run. They need something like that for them to have success, especially starting off early against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which it looks like is going to happen.
And since it's Tampa, I'm gonna say Puck. Yeah, it's gonna be Campbell who's gonna be the most important Leaf. I mean, if you were playing a low scoring team, Auston Matthews gets a couple of goals and might be a game breaker, but I think Campbell's going to have to be on his game, and given the fact that he has had his struggles recently, I think he's going to be the most important Leaf in this playoff run.
There's an obvious choice here, guys, and I'm going to go off the board only because I felt this last year, and I'm going to double down on it this year. It's the captain. For me, it's John Tavares. I think he's the most important Leaf for me going this year because they're going to hone in on Marner and Marner and Matthews. We know they can score. They didn't have a great playoff last year. I get it, but we know that they're capable of it. If the Leafs are going to make a run, it's going to be depth. And I look right into that second line. If they're going to shut that first line down, you need complementary scoring. John Tavares is still a star in this league. Unfortunately, he had the injury last year. He, out of anybody in this lineup, needs to be ready to go, jacked, and something to prove. And I think if they have any success, it's they get the supplementary offense and leadership from John Tavares. So that's why I'm going to go with the captain on this one.
All right. I was totally against you, Frankie, but you sold it well there. So good job. I'll go with the next one. And I'm going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. I know there's not much to talk about this year. It's been an awful year for them. And I know they're looking forward to the draft lottery coming up in a couple weeks. But this is going a little off the board with that. Puck yeah or puck no? Carey Price will be wearing another team's jersey next season.
I was puck no up until this last week, only because if you've seen Connor Bedard play, you want to be as bad as possible. You're not bad as possible with Carey Price in your net. That kid, and we talked about him before on the pod, is incredible. He's definitely the jewel of next year's draft. I think what good was having Carey Price play this year with 10 games left to show other teams that he can play, that he's still eligible to play. He's got, he's still physically able to play. He will be dealt. He does have a no trade clause, and I think he'll end up on the Colorado Avalanche.
Wow.
Calling my shot.
I'm going to say puck no. I think that the Montreal Canadiens can be perfectly bad with Carey Price in net. So I have faith in the Habs to be bad with him. So I'm going to say puck. I don't think that they would have. I think this year would have been a good year to move him. They didn't. I'm going to say puck no.
This new front office for the Habs is kind of like a wild card. If it was Bergevin, I'd say no way he would stick with Price all the way. He's very loyal to his guys. But this new front office, I don't know yet. I'm going to say puck no. I just can't see him wearing another team's jersey. He's just a Hab. And I don't know yet if they're smart enough, Frankie, to go that route and get rid of him so that they can be as bad as they possibly can, so that they have the best shot possible at Connor Bedard the following year. I think, honestly, they're going to try to be better next year and try to make a playoff spot. I don't think they're nearly as bad as they were this year. I don't think they're good enough to make a playoff spot next year as it is right now, even with Carey Price in the lineup. But I think they're going to look to make some improvements. With Carey, they'll at least be in the mix, and I think that's what they're going to strive to do. So Price will be back in a Habs jersey full-time next season.
All right.
All right, Bobby, it's up to you now. We're going Jays.
Okay. Puck yeah or puck no. The most important player on the Blue Jays is not Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
I'm gonna say puck yeah. I was waiting for this one. Absolutely 100% for me, Short Springer. That guy is the engine of this Jays team, in my opinion. Both at the plate, he's leading off. He's the energy boost. He's a center fielder, which is probably the most important position. Well, one of the most important positions out there. And when he hits and when he gets on base, the percentages show that the Jays have an incredible winning record. So as long as he stays healthy, and we saw what they did when he was out. I know, they competed, but when he's in the lineup, he's just like that X factor. So for me, Short Springer.
I'm going to say puck yeah as well, because Vladdy's obviously the best hitter on the Blue Jays, but he plays first base, which is not one of the premier defensive positions, I would say. Springer does play center field, a little bit more important. The shortstop, you'd say, was more important as well. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to side with you, Frankie, that Springer is the more impactful player in all facets of the game. But that's no disrespect to Vladdy, who's definitely the best hitter on the team. And quite frankly, everybody else in this lineup has a chance to hit better because Vladdy's in the lineup. And teams don't want to throw to him, and they're going to try to stay away from him. And he makes a huge difference when you see that name in the lineup every day. So,
which is part of the reason why I say puck yeah, he is the most important Blue Jay. He's an everyday player. He's the best hitter in baseball. He's got a great eye. I think he fits so well into this team. He sets the lineup. He sets the tone. The only other player I would say is more important is Alek Manoah, because I think Alek Manoah is the star of the rotation. He's the only guy I would say is more important than Vladdy, but I'll go with Vladdy since you two are Vladdy haters, and I am a Placata fan. Vladdy.
And Rob also has one of those blazers that he wears to work every day with the country
Barrio.
All right. Last one for me. Going to go back to the Leafs here. Going to go with some postseason predictions. Auston Matthews will not lead the Leafs in scoring in the NHL playoffs. Hopefully a lengthy one, but he will not lead the Leafs in scoring.
I'm going to say Puck no. They better hope that Matthews is the leading scorer because they need him to be. He needs to be the best player on the ice. He has been the best player on the ice this season. I mean, you can make arguments for McDavid, Huberdeau, Gaudreau, have all had amazing years. But Auston, more often than not, when he plays, has been the best player on the ice. They need that game in and game out this playoff. And obviously, other guys need to step up. Marner has to be a lot better this playoff. Nylander needs to show what he showed last year. Tavares, just having him in the lineup as opposed to last year will be a great help. But it's Matthews who is the engine of this team, and they need him to be the best player. They need him to have the most points if they want any hope of going and making a big run this year.
Yeah, unless he gets injured, I am also a Puck. No, he will be leading the team. I can't think of someone else that's going to lead this team, given the fact that Marner struggled, Tavares struggled, Nylander. The only other guy, you guys are going to call me crazy for this. I could see a guy like Ilya Mikheyev being like
Calling you crazy, yes.
No, but like you know, there's always the guy that like you don't expect it, and he just pops in points, and he's a grinder, and a puck goes in off his ass.
But this guy is never the leading scorer, so
I think come playoff time, if Auston Matthews is going to be one, the guy I picture right behind him is going to be Ilya Mikheyev, because I don't see another guy that's going to push.
Joe knows how much I'm smiling because Joe knows how much I love that guy. And if Ilya Mikheyev is your leading scorer, we got a big problem.
Big problem. You're not making it very far.
I'm also going to say Puck no. Puck yeah, that he will not lead. Only because I'm just going to go in a different direction. I think it's an obvious choice, but I'm hoping that they get more from. And you're gonna call me crazy. I think Morgan Rielly is going to lead them in points. I think that's a guy.
Yep.
That's a guy who has shown in playoffs that he had such an incredible playoff last year. He's almost close to his career total points this year, scoring more goals. Giordano allows him, actually, depending on who Rielly's playing with. I know he's had a bunch of partners. I've seen a little bit more offense from him as well, a little bit more power play points. So just to be different, I'm going to go Morgan Rielly.
All right. And I'm going to bring up the last one here. The Raptors just pulled off the victory about 20 minutes ago against the 76ers in Game 5. So, puck yeah or puck no, the Raptors will be the first team in NBA history to come back from a 3-0 deficit and win the series.
Ooh, man, I want to say puck yeah so bad. You know, you guys are going to hate me for this. I'm going to say puck no, and they lose in 7. Because there's something about Game 7s and bad refereeing that I think they need Philly in the second round. And by I mean the league. I just think they get screwed on some bad refereeing and the wheels fall off. And so I'm going to say they push it to 7, but that's as far as they get.
Agreed. And if it was a 2-3-2, I say maybe. Yeah, 2 games at home, maybe. I think it's just too much to ask this team to win 4 straight. So, but if any team is going to blow a lead, it is a Doc Rivers coach team, because that guy sucks, and he is an awful coach. And so, I don't think it's going to happen. But it is Doc Rivers, so you never know.
I want to say puck yeah, just to be different from you guys, but I'm going to say puck no as well. I think they are going to push it to 7 at this point. They're not losing Game 6 at home, but then Game 7, all bets are off. The officiating is totally going to be against them. Let's give the Raptors full credit, even for pushing it to 6 at this point. No Fred VanVleet the last game. He was not available for the full game in Game 4. Scotty Barnes is playing with half an ankle. But yet this team there's no quitting them. You got to admire it. And it starts from the top with Masai, and Nick Nurse is just a great coach as well. They're winners, and they're instilling it upon their players. After they went down 3-0, everyone thought Nick Nurse was crazy. He said, late. You just got to win the first one, and then you're down 3-1, and people have come back from that. So doing these little mind tricks with the team, I like it. I like their shot going to 7, but I don't like their chances in the game 7.
Shout out to Scotty Barnes. That kid is a gamer.
Unbelievable.
Gamer.
Rookie of the year. Remember last year, everyone hated Masai for picking him. All the people that had never watched a lick of college basketball all wanted the other guy. Yeah. Maybe let's trust the guy who.
Yeah, you cannot doubt this guy, man.
In Masai, we trust.
That's right. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button. Drop us a comment or anything like that. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time, and we'll see you soon.